Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Claire from Shergroup, and we are doing a Shergroup on the sofa today with our lovely friend Margo Slaby from BNI County Line Connections here in Florida. So, as we always do in this show, we always give a shout out to all our fans across the world, but we have one #1 fan. So, hey, Ross Saunders. Hi to you. I think Margo's going to give you a little hi as well.
Too cool. Hi there. Nice to meet you. So glad you're watching. And I am coming all the way from Winter Garden, Florida. So I'm so excited to share all about us and have you watch. Thank you so much.
Very good, good, good. Well, most of my family are very aware of Florida. I haven't dragged them over here on holidays before we ended up living here, Margo. So there are a lot of Brits actually that come to this part of the world. I want to ask you about that a little bit later in the interview, if you don't mind. What you can do for British customers, and other people, but out of country customers, I think you must see all the time. So, so you're a member of our BNI chapter. We've just had an exciting meeting this morning. You did great, and you're so enthusiastic. And I have to say, you're a little unusual as a bank manager. That you are so full of beans. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
That's 40 years of dealing with banks talking right there.
I love it.
So it's lovely to see somebody so enthusiastic about their bank and their work environment and everything that you're doing, and that comes across in everything that you do. So you're at Regions Bank.
Correct.
And just tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, how did you get to where you are? What is your position at Regions?
Sure. So I am what we call a financial health consultant, which is basically a banker. So what I do is, of course, take in walk-ins, appointments of our mass customers, basically, when it comes to consumer or business, either or. I've been with Regions for about almost 8 months now. So I've been loving it. I've been in the banking industry, however, for 7 years.
Yeah.
Just started as a part-time teller, trying to make some money. And then one thing led after another. I started loving it a little bit more and then got more hours, got a couple of promotions in there, and just the rest is history. I think I found my niche. I love talking to people. I love talking about money. I think it's really interesting, and you really learn a lot about somebody just based off of their conversations with money. So I'm honored that many people choose me to have those conversations with, and that's my goal every day, is to make sure those are good experiences for my clients.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right. And you're sitting in the bank now, right?
I am. There's our lobby behind us. You might see some people walking through every once in a while through the little triangles, but yeah,
nice backdrop. It's a nice backdrop, very corporate.
Yes.
So you started as a part-time teller, and are now a financial healthcare consultant.
Consultant, yes.
Okay. So what's the favorite part of your job?
Really, I just love it when people have that aha moment. You know, people usually come into the bank when they have a problem or something that they need a solution for. So kind of walking through those plans together, or a little bit of a game plan per se, having them realize, oh my gosh, I can do this, or I'm capable of this, or I see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the most gratifying part, because that means that I took my tools, education, and resources into something that's actually worth it for somebody. So that's my favorite part for sure. And then obviously working with a great team and in a great area too. Obviously, I can't deny that.
So when somebody comes into the bank, do you get assigned to them like straight off the bat if they open an account, or they're an existing customer? How does that work?
So as we'll probably know in our conversations later in this interview, but Regions is a relationship-based bank. We really strive on making sure you have a personalized experience from the moment you walk in and until you continue to bank with us for the rest of your life, hopefully, you know. So my experience with clients is you're going to have a follow-up almost immediately after sitting with me, whether it's for a debit card or a big transaction itself. I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of days, in a week, And then I have a 1, 3, 6, and 12-month follow-up with all my clients. And in that, I make sure to take notes of things that you've got going on in the next 6 to 12 months. Do you have a birthday, anniversary? What are some things we talked about that maybe I can follow up with? Because you said it's important to you. I want to make sure you're taken care of in those aspects. So I would love to work with every client I sit with. Obviously sometimes that doesn't work because of location, timing, and et cetera, but it's certainly the goal with every client.
It's so nice when you walk into a bank and someone like you recognizes you as a customer. It's one of the, I mean, I know banks do an awful lot in terms of branding and, having nice environments, and why wouldn't they? But the biggest thing the bank has to offer is that personal relationship. And if your bank manager or financial person assigned to your account, when you walk in and they say hello and how you doing, and I've got you, I know what you need. Oh, no, it's a dream. It's
Absolutely. Well, and when you think about it too, money is such a big thing. You have to have a lot of trust in somebody. So if you just are willy-nilly with somebody, a client, if I'm willy-nilly with somebody, for example, they're probably not going to trust me with those types of conversations, with their money, with their life goals. And at that point, I'm doing them a disservice. So that's a huge benefit as well.
Yeah, I think as a business owner as well, anything that takes the angst out of moving money around, getting customers to pay us, paying customers, paying suppliers, anything that just makes life easier is so welcome. And that's not unique to regions or Florida, that's the world over, right? The banking system is changing, so we're all looking for ease of use. Okay, so I'm sure you're great at helping customers make those traverse. I know you can see it in your face. So I can tell you all about helping the customer, whatever type of customer they are. So let's just concentrate on business customers, because there are a lot of people that watch this are going to be running their own businesses or part of a business. How do you help business owners identify their financial goals? How does that work?
Great questions. So with Regions specifically, and many other banks have a similar vibe with that, but we have what we call a Regions green print. And at that point, it takes about 10, 15 minutes. This is something that we would do probably in the middle of our conversation together. It's a series of questions. These questions help me identify what your banking needs are, what your business needs are, and then at that point, provide solutions and products afterwards that Regions can hopefully provide at that point.
Yeah.
But specifically to that, I'm going to be asking questions about how money comes in. How do you receive payments? How are you managing that income? And then payments out. Do you the payroll system? How are you paying your vendors? How are your products? And then how much time is in between money coming in versus out? Is there a cash flow issue that we have to address? How is it that you are going to be coming up with a plan when an emergency comes up? We've bought your products, we haven't gotten paid yet. What goes on with that? And certainly that leads to the question of what keeps you up at night. You're a business owner. You got stuff to do. You don't need to be worried about banking stuff when I obviously might have a solution at that point to make your life easier. And so that's what we kind of get a game plan on. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes we don't really have many issues to sort out just yet because we might be new. And at that point, we create a business plan. But sometimes we have some seasoned banking clients that are struggling. And that's where we come in and kind of revamp their banking experience. Stuff changes all the time. We want to be able to change with that. So that's how we I guess, hone in on that conversation is with that green print.
Yeah, of course. And just on the personal side, what kind of support do you give to people in their personal financial goals?
Same thing with the green print, but it's going to have different questions. Obviously, I'm not asking about how you pay people on the personal side, but I'm going to be asking, how is it that you use money? Do you use a credit card, debit card? Do you primarily use cash? What is it that when you use money and have it in your hands, How is your relationship with it? Are you stressed out all the time? Do you have a budgeting process? Do you want one? You know, how is it that you have these goals coming up in the next 6 to 12 months, and how can we reach that? In any case scenario, whether it's personal or business, my role is to basically be a financial cheerleader in the sense that I'm here to listen to your needs, write them down, notate them, come up with a situation for you, and really just keep each other accountable and cheer you on and be able to dip with the highs and lows once they come up as well.
I love that, a financial cheerleader.
Yeah. I need a uniform or something.
Yeah, you need a pom-pom.
Right?
But no, I mean, it's great, you know, because I think this is the issue around money, having enough, and then looking after it and knowing how to use a bank, knowing how to, you know, build your business. These are things, yeah, okay, if you went to business school, you might well have all these things, but maybe you're an entrepreneur and you just started to build a business and it just took off, and, you know, and you need a bank that's going to support you and someone that can you can talk to, you know.
And even if you have the experience and the knowledge of it, having someone validate what you're doing sometimes means the world. You know, like, hey, Claire, you're doing awesome. I see you saving. I see you putting this together. This is the way to go. Good job. And that makes you feel good. You don't have a need for me to come up with a solution for your problem, but certainly you're having a good experience with your banker because I'm taking care of your needs. And that's sometimes to be recognized.
Yes. I would say in comparison to the UK banks, and I'm sorry for any UK bankers that are listening today, but I love the positivity around the US banking system, and this personal relationship piece that you haven't lost. I know it's changed in the banks, and I can see that in banks over here, but even so, you're still hanging on to it with people like you, greeting people and looking after people. And I think that's a real strength of the US banking system. I don't know if it's the same across all 50 states, but I've seen it a lot in Florida and I appreciate it.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I really do. And that's something that banks in London and banks in, you know, in other parts of the UK, that's been lost, that personal banking system. So hang on to that. Now, another thing that over the years, as I told my mother many years ago, I always borrowed on my potential, and much to her concern, but building credit.
Yes.
Now, you can't really get off first base in the United States without a credit score, and without having a credit history. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to have one. So let's say you're arriving from outside the United States and you want to start building a credit history here. Can the bank help them? Can Regions help them?
Most certainly. We do have some requirements when it comes to building credit. Obviously, you have to have a social security number or a tax ID number.
Yeah.
Either one of those is good. That's the vehicle in which we're reporting to.
Yeah.
For anyone that's not a citizen of the United States, I need you to at least be a resident. Just have a residency status. At that point, you're available for any type of credit product with Regions itself.
Right.
And then at that point, you're the same as any other client we have walking in, and we talk about how to build that, right? Like you said, whether you like it or not, you're going to need credit. It's kind of this crazy game we play to get what we need and be responsible at that point too.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main point about building credit. We're not here to talk about how much you can borrow and how much you can get away with and whatnot. It's really about creating a vehicle in which you can reach your next goal, whatever that may be, car, house, you know, whatever. So with building, I always recommend for my new borrowers some type of secured credit option, whether that's a secured credit card in the sense it's like a prepaid debit card, you put money down on it, you use it, you pay it off, something like that, or and a secured loan. Again, you put money on it and then you pay off that loan per se. You're essentially borrowing money from yourself. But at that point, you have a variable credit, a line, an open line of credit that's building history with your credit card, and a closed and fixed loan option as well. And how that works on your credit report is they are both reporting differently. They're both reporting the history that's a little bit more complex in the sense that, okay, now you're showing that you're able to be responsible with two different types of credit products. So that's very, very beneficial to the client at that point. And then really it's just having healthy habits. And we talk about that when we do any type of credit application, using at max 30% of your credit limit. Don't be maxing out a credit card just because you have it, because your likelihood of paying that off is not as good as if it was less money, right?
Yeah.
And then just paying it off in full at the end of every month. So making sure you have healthy habits. Don't buy something unless you have the money for it in your checking account if need be, you know, only use it for bills, something like that you have budgeted for. So at the end of the month, you're not like, oh my gosh, I just went crazy on my credit card. What's going to go on? So I think that's something we definitely want to stress on when you're building credit. We're not here to help you get the next best thing. It's to create good habits so that you can be able to get those big purchases later on.
Yeah. So again, that's good advice for people starting out. Maybe that's their first job, maybe it's their first business and they need
Correct.
to open lines of credit. Maybe they're a cash, you know, all in the cookie jar, and they've never had, you know, a card or a line of,
yeah. It's sometimes scary, yes, for sure.
So they come to these financial products, which some of us take very much for granted, with a lot of concern, you know, and trepidation about whether or not it's right for them. But if they want to get a house, if they want to get on the mortgage ladder, then they're going to have a credit score. So there we are. If you're somebody listening to this and you haven't got a line of credit yet, or you need to think about it, then go and make an appointment with Margo and go and see her and have a chat. And again, people coming to the United States, as I did, I mean, I started with a secured credit card with a competitor, but I didn't, we have been customers of Regions, but we did have a secured credit card in the start, and it seemed it's a bit alien, that it's not something that's done in the UK. So again, you know, if you're coming to Orlando, as some of you might be, and moving here, migrating here, you haven't got a bank account, then obviously Margo is a great contact for you to talk about how to get you off first base, right, Margo, with setting a bank account up, setting credit up, and then moving forward. Yeah, let's do it. And also, I use Credit Karma to manage my credit score. Is that a good product? Do you like that?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, kind of same thing, different name.
Yeah.
But I love that they update it weekly. I love that they show the history of everything throughout your account being opened. I think it's a great vehicle to be used in conjunction with some other apps. I know, like if you have Regions and you have a credit card with us, it'll show your score on there too.
Yeah.
Same with other banks. So creating that average, using multiple avenues to see. Oh, I use Credit Karma like a crazy woman all the time.
It's all about managing your credit score, isn't it? It's just managing it and just, you know, working out if you are 30% over and then dipping down, and, you know, if you buy you know, you put a car on lease, that's going to impact your credit. And so, yeah, getting used to using one of those apps and then talking
and being aware.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I see a lot of people, and to no fault of their own, it's scary. Yeah. It's a lot, but sticking their head in the sand. You know, I'm just, if I don't see it, I'm not going to know. And that kind of is worse than having a bad credit score, because at least if you know what your score is and you know how to,
absolutely,
to work on it, it's better off than just being naive to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't put your head in the sand, guys.
Yeah.
It's not scary. You just got to manage. You've always got to manage your own money, and credit is the same. You just have to manage it, right? So let's say though that somebody, you know, is doing a lot of the right things. I mean, and you know, for one reason or another, we're entering a period of, you know, some financial uncertainty. Would that be fair enough to say? I don't want to say anything else because I did see some headlines today. I won't mention that, but financial uncertainty, I think, is an outcome of COVID. I think when we got the vaccines, we all thought, oh great, we've got the vaccines, we can all get on back on board with our lives. But I think the wake of COVID is still touching us, and now we have financial pressures. So when it comes to people getting behind and in debt, what can you do for them, Margo? How can you help people?
Right. Well, I think first and foremost, it is a lot of emotion as well. So really just letting them know it's okay. It'll work out. It's not the end of the world. You're not probably the first person who's gone into debt. So there's processes and stuff to happen, right? We're not reinventing any wheel.
No.
But really it's going to be looking at your income and your responsibilities, your liabilities. You know, what does that look like? What's your debt to income ratio? A good healthy debt to income ratio is under 30%. So if we're anywhere above that, we want to start having some conversations about how to minimize that. And it's really just to help your cash flow, really, at the end of the day. I personally, this isn't necessarily a Regions thing per se, but I am a big visual person. So I have Excel sheets. I use my calculator often with clients, really just finding out where we can move money and be able to have an end date in sight. So I have a amortization calculator where I put in your loan, your credit, whatever it is, your balance and your rate and your payment. And it tells me based off of how much you're putting into it now, when can that get paid off? All right, now we look into your budget. Where can we shave any type of monies? Now update your debt payoff schedule and watch that number go down. And it is really one of those, again, an aha moment, that light bulb pops up, they get excited. They're like, it can actually be done. And so we're really going to be looking at either making more money or spending less money at the end of the day, and seeing if there's any products that I can offer to give lower rates, lower payments. I can get really creative with stuff too. That's the benefit of being with Regions. We have a lot of different stuff available. So really just depends on the situation, but really it'll be okay.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's encouraging. Yeah. That's encouraging. Because it's proactive management, isn't it, of a situation. Yeah. So guys, if you find yourself listening to this, and you could be anywhere in the world, you don't need to be in the US, you know, unfortunately this wave of negative stuff is going to affect many of us, and it is about just watching your money in and out and saving, cutting back, and just, you know, not living on bread and water, but just, you know, just taking stock of where you are. Yeah. and helping yourself move through this period. Everyone really has got to do that. Governments have got to do that, right? So citizens have definitely got to do it as well. All right. Now, let's say that we're all heading towards, we're all working, and we're all coming to the end of hopefully our work, although we all seem to be working longer. And some of us enjoy working, and I certainly can't really envisage, although I tell my husband I can, but I can't really envisage a day when I don't work. So, but I don't think he's going to work with that. But retirement, in whatever shape that looks like for you, and I don't necessarily think that needs to be that you just put your feet up and you never work another day. You might be pottering around on something that you enjoy, a hobby or a side hustle or whatever, but you've still got to pay the bills and you've still got to run the car. So what can you do in terms of retirement for people, Margo?
Sure. So when it comes to retirement, I always want to stress that it's never too late and there's never a wrong time to start. Obviously, if you're thinking about it, it's time to do it. So some ways that I can help, and certainly Regions, but also your own bank if we're overseas as well, is to start thinking about how much every paycheck should we be saving towards retirement. And yes, I'm going to do this on a molecular level here. Every paycheck, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, good rule of thumb is to save about 10% of your paycheck for something in the future, whether that's retirement or some other big purchase. But that way you're getting into the habit of setting money aside. As you know, we only get paid if we work. So when you stop working, you want to still get paid. So you got to build that up. Here at Regions, we have a great team of our advisors here that work with any level of clients, whether you're under $10,000 or over $500,000 and above. Like, it really doesn't matter. We have somebody there to at least get something opened up for you. We've got IRAs, and those are different than your 401ks, because your 401k, that's with your job. IRA is private. So those are those big differences, but they still work the same in the sense that you're saving for retirement. But something that I do for sure is at least setting those habits and those expectations of setting money aside. So that way you know that A, you're capable of saving money, you're good at it, and two, hey, you're doing something for your future self, and they're going to thank you 20, 30, 40 years from now. Thank you for saving 10%. It's going to be worth it so much in the end.
Yes, absolutely. So again, you know, if you've got a retirement, if retirement is on the horizon, or you've just started to think about it, or perhaps your mom and dad have started to think about it and it's made you think about it, then again, a banker that is anticipating that, even though it's a long way down the line, it's worth getting those early foundations in place.
Correct.
For your pension scheme. And if you're like me and your other end of the journey and you're looking at retirement, you know, then again, think about what you can live on a month.
Right.
How are you going to be able to fund your lifestyle once you start to take your foot off the gas?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we live in a generation where at least people are thinking about retirement and wanting to do more in retirement, which is something exciting. We're all living longer.
Sitting around, it's enjoying life. It's time.
Enjoying life, exactly. That's what we want to do, is it, in retirement? We've worked hard for it.
Right.
So business owners, you're in the same boat. You've got to think about your retirement as well. And in terms of BNI and the people that we meet in our chapter and across the world, actually, BNI, when they come to Florida and they come to this lovely part of Florida on the western side of Orlando, where you're based in Hamlin, right, on the 429. Yes. That's a beautiful development.
So cute.
And how do they start a business relationship with you at Regions? What's the steps, Margo?
Well, it's pretty straightforward, because at this point you've already done a lot. You've already figured out what your business is, what you're going to do, and how you're going to do it. But at that point with Regions, we're going to require any and all owners over 25% ownership. So I'm going to need you to be registered with either somewhere in the United States with one of the states, and have that paperwork with you, or I can help you find it too. That's not hard for me. And if you are registered abroad, you know, in the UK, and you're bringing over a foreign entity, that's fine. Just bring over that documentation. We have an enhanced due diligence review team, and they just review everything. They're kind of like our legal department. They review everything with our countries, and that includes if you yourself as an owner are a citizen of another country. So either way, you are definitely taken care of. There's not a different experience afterwards. It's just you might have a couple of days of part of your review that we just look at your documentation, basically.
Sure.
Just need to have a tax ID number as well if you are registered here in the States. That's with the IRS. Super easy to get, maybe 10 minutes, and register through your state, which also maybe takes a week. So it's comically easy here once you're ready to go, and then you come in, bring me $100 to put into your account and activate it. And then we go through all those fun questions that we talked about earlier to pick the best account, and really, but it's pretty easy.
And does I would imagine they do, because every American, once they get to 21 or 18, gets a social. 16. When do you get a social in America? When
you're born.
Oh, when you're born. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have to apply for mine. Okay.
Yeah. My parents say it was 18, but I got mine when I was born.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe my grandbabies will have one. But for me, if you're a foreigner coming in, you're going to have to go and apply. You can look online how to apply for a social security number. And is it right to say that most Americans know their number off by heart? Do you know your?
No.
You don't know your social off by heart?
No. I would say if you're over the age of 25, you probably do, because you filled out enough job applications and healthcare records and everything to fill it out. But if you haven't really done that too much, I have a lot of my teenagers have it, either they call their mom or they have it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
But most of the time, yes, but my younger clients, probably not.
Okay. Well, this person, I memorized mine because I got asked it so many times.
Oh,
I just thought, do you know, I can't keep running for the little book that I've written it in or my social card. So I memorized mine. So little point there, if you can, then memorize your social security number. It just saves you a lot of angst. When you're asked for it and you're in a queue somewhere. And I just wondered if that was a thing that people did.
Yeah.
I was a bit unusual. Sounds like I'm a bit unusual. Okay. All right. What I mean, when you come to the chapter meetings, you're always saying, I can, and this is what I pick up because I think it's great. You know, I can help business owners with, you know, purchasing new kit and vehicles, and so how does that work? What are you doing for business owners?
So with the business stuff specifically that we focus on, Regions has so many good programs. So for example, our equipment financing, we do 100% equipment financing for our business clients. That's something that you don't see too often. Maybe it requires a down payment, and that can be anything from a vehicle, a truck, a work truck, to even I'm working with a restaurant to redo their seating, their tables, their flatware, and their kitchen equipment. That is all included as part of our equipment financing. So it's very inclusive. And same thing with just business loans in general, business credit in general, and providing financial education, kind of what we're doing today. That's what I do for my businesses, is I go to their place of business, I sit with their team. It's all free for the business themselves, but it provides them a benefit of giving them a personalized banker where they don't have to go into the branch. So that saves them some time, and really create that customized experience as well for them. Yeah. But that's what kind of sets Regions apart, and doing that, because it's such a good product, we do have requirements in that sense. So that's why I always stress it's good to have a relationship with the bank, and certainly with Regions, if I could be so selfish. But a lot of times we require businesses, before they get any type of lending products, to be in business for 2 years. We are a smaller bank. We are a regional bank, hence the name. So we don't really have a lot of risk flexibility when it comes to lending. So being in business for 2 years is a requirement for Regions, and we really just want to make sure that you are stable in that sense. And sometimes you have to bank with us for 6 months, make sure your accounts are in good standing. But a lot of times with my businesses, they're already been banking with us, so I haven't seen that as much of a hiccup. That's a good benefit. But certainly when I'm, especially with BNI, a lot of my new business clients, I'm having to set up follow-ups and set up new opportunities for them to kind of fill in that time gap.
And do you find BNI a useful way for referrals to get, you know, it must work for you a treat in terms of, you know, talking to business owners?
Right. I mean, it's going right into the heart of it. You know, I'm talking with business owners. I'm really learning a lot about what they need, and I'm certainly learning more about the area as well. But business owners is my in to learning more and how I can help too. You know, as a bank, we want to be able to spread our wings out and grow the branch as a whole. So I love BNI. I think it's so much fun. I just meet so many people, and it's productive. I'm not just sitting around waiting for somebody to talk to me. Like, we have the one-to-ones, we have the meetings, we have areas in which we can have productive conversation and be able to help each other out.
Yeah, and showcase our, you know, our new stuff, which, I mean, you take full advantage of that every meeting in your 45 seconds, which is, you know, why I pick, you know, I pick up on some of the things that you're talking about, and I think it's great that you're able to talk about that as the bank rolls out new stuff. So new financial products.
Yes.
in terms of helping your customers. And Margo, do you just cover the kind of Horizon West area, or can people contact you, anyone, you know, across Central Florida? You know, who could contact you today from this?
Yeah, really anybody. And when it comes to actual applications, like credit applications, I'm going to need you to be in the branch. So you have to have some availability with that.
Yeah.
But if you're already a client with us or you want to become a client with us, I have many options where you don't have to come into the branch, and we can still have maybe a phone appointment, or I can screen share with you or something like that to be a little bit more convenient. But no, obviously this is a great area. We have some great lunch spots. If you ever want to come out, you can make a weekday out of it or something like that. And we're open Saturdays. So we love to
It
have
is a
you
lovely
attend.
part of the world. I mean, just for
Yeah.
anyone that's listening and perhaps visits Orlando but doesn't know where Margo is, it's just straight north on the 429 as you come out of Disney. You just basically zip up the 429 up until the Independence Parkway exit, right? And you're right there. It cannot, as long as you're prepared to pay tolls, it can't be any easier to get to see Margo.
Florida.
Yeah, I know, but hey, it's efficient. The road system, trust me, it's efficient. So us Brits, we love it. So anyone that wants to come and see Margo, thinking about setting up a business here, thinking about setting up a bank account here, come on holiday, maybe you're not, you know, you're not ready to make your business move here, but you just want to start and build some financial base, then this is a good time to reach out to Margo for all the Brits that are listening today. All right, Margo. So thank you so much for guesting today. It's been an absolute tonic having you on here talking about banking and making it sound so much, well,
I know.
fun. I love it. A happy bank manager. Come on. That is in itself. I mean, all bank managers should be like you. Your website is regions.com. You've got an Instagram account. I haven't even looked at that. But I hope you're on there as a great advert for a bank manager. You've got a Facebook page, you've got a Twitter page, and I saw you on LinkedIn, and you are on LinkedIn, your personal profile as well. So I'll make sure that we're linked on that. Okay, so I've plugged all your social media, so there's no escape from Margo who wants to talk in terms of banking. And for everyone else who is with the Shergroup guys, this is, thanks for staying with us through this episode of Shergroup on the Sofa. Visit us at shergroup.com. That is our online shop. We have all our products and services on there. We've just started a new spin-off website for the United States, which is shergroupusa.com. Go and have a look at that. We've got some fantastic initiatives going on with our American team. I am so proud of them, so proud of them. And we are on everything. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Don't even ask me how we got in Pinterest, but we are. So please connect with Shergroup. We're helping business owners. We're interested in the journeys of business owners. I'm a business owner, and I want to make sure that in the future, some of the lessons I learned, like having a happy bank manager, you get that, because I didn't always have that, and you learn from experience. So if I can share any of that with you, that's what these sessions are all about, doing business with good people. So thank you, Margo. See you next week in BNI, and or maybe at the lunch this week. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. Thanks very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.